All right, human nature is my inquiry topic, I guess, broadly, anyway. All right, I gave a little quote from my robot here. It says, "Thank you, you said someone, not something," which that is a quote by Sonny, the character, if any of you have seen that movie. All right, the robot with emotions. So, moving on. All right, this is a picture. I don't know, Shinborn said picture would be good, so. This is from 2001: A Space Odyssey. I don't know if they did like a remake of that or whatever. It was originally like a 1968 movie. That's not important. What is though, I don't know, I kind of thought that this, in a sense, kind of made me think like, I don't know, why do humans strive to branch outward in? Why do we try to push out and do great things? Like, I don't know exactly, I haven't seen the movie, but I mean, we went to the moon. Why did we do that? I mean, we didn't get like resources from or anything. I mean, I know we were like combating the Soviet Union or whatever, but besides that, why does humanity as a whole try to do things like this? I mean, just to prove that we can, whatever. So. Thanks. All right. Dictionary.com gives this definition of the human condition as the positive and negative aspects of existence as a human being, especially the inevitable events such as birth, childhood, adolescence, love, sex, reproduction, aging, and death, so on and so forth. There are like a bunch of definitions that you'll get that are going to be, sort of like this, but they're kind of two-dimensional if you ask me, you know what I mean? In that, I mean, they're good as a definition, but there's more to humanity than that. So, why is that? Let's find out. Next slide. Well, you got the vibe there, but I will be more clear next time. All right. Anyway, why do humans strive to be to have identity, especially as individuals, or do we at all? I mean, some might argue that we don't, but it seems, to be in our nature to try to break off, father or the son not trying to be like his old man or whatever, like, oh, my dad does this, but screw that, I'm going to do something else. Or just, to try to be better than their peers. And why is that? I mean, is it some kind of instinctual drive for superiority, just something as simple as like, if you do something different or do something better, then you'll have an advantage over your peers, and then you'll, whatever, reproduce more, whatever the definition would be for other animals. But also, I don't know, it could be something far more complex that we have yet to understand fully or at all. So, I don't know. I mean, it's really up to interpretation. All right, and to be logical, it's obvious that no two human beings are the same morphologically or whatever you want to say, state of mind. Exactly. But I don't know. Once again, some people might say that humans are relatively predictable. That we all kind of tend to follow the same trends, that we more or less conform to one another instead of break off. Like, I guess like hipsters, weird example, but it's just came to mind right now. But anyway, like hipsters, they're all like trying to be, I don't know, I'm not a hipster, so I'm not exactly sure. At least I don't think so, but anyway, they're all like, trying to be something different. Like, oh, this is the trend, this is the norm. We're gonna break away from that. But there's so many of them like that. They're all their own little norm of hipsters that listen to the same music and all that stuff. So I mean, I don't know. Are they different or are they all the same? It's really depends on how you look at it. Anyway, so the two books I read, Surely You're Joking, Mr. Feynman by Richard P. Feynman. That's how he lists it. And Lord Jim by Joseph Conrad. A lot of different books. Surely You're Joking is an autobiography, kind of a spruced up autobiography, I guess, of Richard Feynman's life. He was a physicist. And Lord Jim is a novel, completely fictional. So, and they're from different time periods also. Anyway, so after reading these books, like neither of them are immediately about human nature, like they're not like some kind of psychologist's perspective or whatever else, that you would expect, but nonetheless, I've come to pretty much make one major connection between them that may be pertinent to human nature. So. So, surely you're joking, Mr. Feynman. As it says here, focuses on the life of Richard Feynman, who is, he grows up to be a famous physicist in kind of like the post-World War II era, kind of after the atomic nuclear bomb type stuff. He seems to be a pretty normal kid when he's a kid. He's really exceptionally curious, it seems like. He's always got this drive to figure things out. Like, he always thinks, okay, here's a locked door, why can't I unlock it? Or here's a broken radio, there's no reason I can't fix it. So he's always, starting out with simple things like radios is the first thing he does. He starts out with really simple radios. He takes them apart, figures out how they work, puts them back together, and then he ends up getting jobs later on fixing people's radios when he's like 12-ish, something like that. And then, he moves on and keeps progressing. And throughout his life, the main thing I notice about him that may be different than a lot of other people is that he doesn't lose his curiosity. I mean, people are curious, of course. It's part of who we are. That's what I'm going to say anyway. Back to human nature. But it seems as though as we grow older, we kind of lose this, people could call it childish or naive, aspect of, why can't I do this? Why can't I, why can't I walk on the moon? There's no reason I can't. And he never loses this throughout his life. I guess maybe some people may say that it's like beaten out of us, It's like when you're a kid, you haven't experienced much of life, so you're like, oh, there's no reason I can't be a fireman or, I don't know, lift up a car to save someone or something weird like that. I don't know. But basically, I guess he maintains his curiosity, so that's the main thing that I thought was interesting. Alright, so Lord Jim, that's not Lord Jim, that's Rob Schneider. The reason I put that picture is because later in this book, Lord Jim, I'll get to this in a minute, he goes to this place called Patusan, and that is a picture from the movie Surf Ninjas. I don't know if anyone's seen that. Yeah. Good movie, I guess. Anyway, Rob Schneider's in it, and they go to this Patusan place in that movie also, which is kind of interesting. It's a completely fictional location. It's like some remote Malaysian island, but anyway, generated by the novel Lord Jim. So anyway, the story is basically a recounting of this guy named Jim. They never give a last name for him. It's his life, pretty much recounted by, at first, just whatever, some narrator, and then mainly after that by this guy named Marlowe, who's a little bit enigmatic at first. I don't think they ever give another name for Marlowe either. That's either his first or his last name, who he also appears in some other of Joseph Conrad's books, which is, I thought it was kind of interesting. Like, what is it?
Heart of Darkness.
Heart of Darkness, that's it. Something about darkness. Anyway, yeah, he's in Heart of Darkness also, but I think they give him a first and a last name in that book, but whatever the significance of that is. But anyway, so Jim, he grows up with a bunch of brothers, and his parents find out that he has a love for the sea for some reason, so they send him out to some merchant marine academy, and so he does that, and throughout his academy life, and then after that he actually becomes a full-time sailor and a ship captain and all that. He's always having these daydreams, because passively, he's got big dreams of doing like heroic things and stuff like that. But he's always like on the job, sitting there like looking out at the sea, like blanked out, having some daydream, like thinking about, oh, if pirates attacked this ship, what he would do and stuff like that. But then like the first time he actually gets his chance, well, first it's on a training boat, of like making some big difference or something. He's caught up in his daydreams so much that it hinders his actual duties. So I guess they get in the way. And another time on this ship that he's the captain of, called the Patna, if that's how it's pronounced, they hit like some big underwater object, and he was busy having a daydream again, and he just blanks out and doesn't know what to do. And anyway, there's some big hoopla about that, and it gets him in trouble. But anyway, so throughout his whole life, he's having these dreams, and I don't know, always aspiring to do great things, but a lot of times, once again, he's daydreams are getting in the way, or whatever. But eventually they actually do, I guess, arguably, if that's the cause of it, his dreams, I guess, bring him to great things, you could say, which is, he gets a post on this Patusan place, that's like their head trading administrator or something like that. And there, he ends up gaining a lot of respect by the native people. Like, there's some bandit chief there, he fights him off, and they all celebrate him for that, and then they give him the name Tuan Jim, which essentially means Lord Jim. So he's kind of like their leader, their unofficial leader. Like, they have another leader, but he's kind of oppressive, and I don't know. So, and later they get attacked by pirates. Some guy named Gentleman Brown leads them, and he fights off them for a while, and he gets shot in the chest and dies. Book ends, you know. But it's not really important. But I guess the main thing I gathered from this, which I've already said like 6 times, is that, I mean, he's got this, once again, kind of, you might say it's naive, like, that he aspires to do, you know, he thinks he can do whatever he wants. He thinks he can, you know, why can't I be some great sailor or whatever, so. And so, yeah, I guess both of them, both the characters, Feynman and Jim, from both books, the biggest similarity I found between them, which could be attributed to human nature, which I thought would be, you know, once again, it's up to how you interpret it, is that they both kind of strive to reach out, and essentially what that is, I guess, is they both strive for identity, really. So, I don't know, what does that say about human nature? Because again, I guess it could support the fact, or not the fact, but the notion that humans strive to have some kind of identity, either, you know, as a people or as individuals. That's pretty much all I got.